right, and we are live. Hello, everybody. I hope everyone's doing super well. Welcome to another episode of Ageless and Unapologetic with Vanessa J and my good friend Tina Margaret.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, before we start, because I have my lily lashes on today,
Oh my
right?
gosh, I have a
Have you
pair.
tried your lily lashes?
Should I put them on right now just to see how they are?
No, you need to experiment a little. It takes a little bit, but honestly, because I have a thing for lashes and I don't wear them ever except kind of when I come on camera or, go talk at a conference, whatever. But at home, I have lash extensions, but not in my winter. I give them that time off. And I told you about the lily lashes, right? Because it's so easy because I can't put fake eyelashes on or the glue or the magnets. They feel heavy. And these you just uses your heat from your skin and you just squeeze.
I'm so excited because Tina told us about these. And so,
Yeah.
of course, I had to go buy a pair. I have not tried them yet. I am saving them for March when we're at our
Oh, okay.
convention.
Yeah.
So I have something to kind of upgrade my look.
Yeah. But you wear them multiple times.
Yeah.
That's
I know.
pretty cool. They weren't very expensive. Lily lashes. I don't have a
You're
code.
not
If
affiliated.
only I had a code.
Yeah. No kidding, right? No kidding. Yeah. I'm trying to try them. I still haven't taken them out. So,
Okay.
well,
I just
anyway.
wanted to know.
We are really excited today because we're actually going to talk about a subject that you do hear a lot about, but hopefully we can help educate you a little bit on the subject of cortisol, when it's good, when it's bad, and how we said regulate it, or
how we can restore regulation of our cortisol hormone. And I think that that's really key and really important because we talk a lot, especially to menopausal women, about the fact that once we are estrogen deprived, our cortisol is naturally high. Right. And I've said this so many millions of times. All the ladies in my community will know that because I teach about it a lot, but our adrenal gland is responsible for the cortisol hormone, and it is our stress hormone. Yeah. When our sex hormones are no longer producing estrogen, or when our sex organs are no longer producing estrogen, that adrenal gland produces a little bit of estradiol. So the body, who's estrogen deprived, says to the adrenal gland, hey, adrenal gland, you need to produce as much estrogen as you can for me. And then the adrenal gland's like, okay, I got you, but I can no longer take care of cortisol. I'm sorry, cortisol, you are dysregulated, right? Okay. So for a majority of us, it goes high, right? But there's also low cortisol. So we're going to talk about both today because I think it's important that you know what high symptoms are and what low symptoms are, and then some of the things you can do to try to regulate or restore regulation of your cortisol hormone. How's that sound?
Sounds really good. And I think what we have to understand is cortisol isn't bad. It's not a bad thing. And sometimes I think people paint the picture of cortisol being all bad. Actually, no, cortisol is actually good if we understand how to manage it, especially in midlife, right? But ultimately, cortisol's job is to help you stay alive. It helps give you energy. It helps you handle stress. It's not a bad hormone. It's just understanding what it is and how we can work with it instead of against it.
Yeah, that's perfect. And I mean, because one of the things that, when we talk about high cortisol, predominantly in perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause, that is when you're feeling wired but tired. You're waking up in the middle of the night. You are puffy and inflamed all the time. You are midday exhausted, craving caffeine. And then I was reading further and I did not even realize this part, high level of craving carbs in the evening.
Wow.
I just didn't know that.
Yeah, no.
So those are kind of the things that happen with high. And really, like you said, cortisol is super important because it's your stress hormone. You handle stress. It also helps wake you up in the morning. It also regulates your blood sugar, right? It mobilizes that energy when you're under stress so that you can handle it. It also reduces inflammation in a short term, right? And then our cortisol follows a daily rhythm. It's the highest when we wake up in the morning, and then it slowly peters out so that it's lowest at night. So that healthy peak in your cortisol is if you it's the highest at 30 to 45 minutes after you wake up. And then it'll taper through the day, lowest at night. So now we have that disruption. That's why you're waking up. So it's not just elevation, disruption of your rhythm of being highest in the morning and lowest at night. So yeah, the other thing, because I said that carbs I wasn't aware of, racing thoughts before bed.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
How many of us get in bed and then all of a sudden you start thinking?
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you have the belly fat accumulation because we have cortisol receptors in our abdomen. And obviously you can be irritable, you can have anxiety. And when all that stuff is happening, they kind of call it sympathetic dominance. It's like your stress system is in overdrive. So we just want to regulate it.
Right. And I think especially for women in midlife, especially with all of the, daily things that we have going on, this is when we start noticing, and this is, it's high cortisol. It really is common with us because we have stress. A lot of us aren't eating properly. We're under eating. Sometimes we're overtraining. We're not getting enough sleep. And then of course, in turn, we have blood sugar swings as well. And so it's really understanding again, how to manage it,
Yeah. And I mean, the other thing too is that, like you said, like the daily stresses of a midlife woman are astronomical. It seems like it's like everything that you're losing your, the ability of your sex organs to work properly right at the time where, number one, you're taking care of yourself. You are like working probably roughly about 20 years, like 20 years into your workforce, right?
Yeah.
You have adult children who are either staying at home or you're trying to put them through university, like all the things. You are taking care of elderly parents, right? Like all the things pile up at the same time as that stress hormone is overacting. So I think it doesn't help at all. Like the way life is shaped for us as women, it's not helping.
I wonder because, for me, I think because we do take on a lot and, I think we talk a lot about high cortisol, but I'm like, how can we get low cortisol?
Okay, I'll tell you about it. So if you are like completely exhausted in the morning and you're like difficulty getting out of bed, needing caffeine, like that thought of needing caffeine all day to function, feeling flat, emotionally numb, low blood pressure, right? So then if you have low blood pressure, every time you stand up, dizzy, it happens to all of us, that orthostatic hypotension where sometimes you get up too soon or your head's really low and you stand up, but you would be having that a lot. No motivation. You wouldn't be that wired tired. You would be completely depleted.
Huh.
Right. And then even the smallest stressors would be overwhelming. You would be crashing in the middle of the morning, not by the middle of the afternoon. And you would have no ability to work out.
Wow, it's crazy. And so now let's talk about.
And that's called adrenal failure.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Right. So we had the sympathy, like when it's high, remember we said sympathetic, right? Dominance. When it's low, you usually get to that adrenal fatigue, adrenal failure. Yeah. And diagnosing this, like, is very difficult because you need 2 blood tests to see what's happening. Remember when I said, I said it's highest in the morning and then it gets lower and lower and lower and then lowest before you at night. So when you go to the doctor and you say, well, I'll test my cortisol, they're like, oh, we got to give you, like, it's difficult, like, because you have to do 2 blood tests in one day. And
Just-
you'd probably have to repeat them a couple of times to really see the pattern. Right now, there are like saliva tests as well, but I think that's like pretty difficult diagnosis. But so that's why oftentimes you'll just like tell your doctor now they would definitely do the blood test if you had the low, if you had the adrenal fatigue, right? Because it's really bad. Better to have it a little bit high and try to regulate it than low. Like it's a long recovery from like adrenal failure.
For those who are watching, like drop it in the comments. Have you ever wondered if you have high cortisol? You're waking up in the middle of the night. I know a few years ago I had a really puffy round face, more inflammation, stuff like that. But drop in the comments. What do you think? Have you ever had it tested? I'm so curious to know if you have. And what would be the most common? I'm so curious to hear what people have to say. Like, what is the most common symptom that you feel that you have throughout the day?
Yeah. Like, okay. I mean, I'm going to say like a majority of us is high, right? Definitely. That adrenal fatigue, it takes a lot to get it down there, like to get to that spot. So tell us what symptom you have. I think you named most of them. Right, for high. For sure.
Oh, yeah. And so now how do we bring things back into balance?
Okay. I don't want to say it's not difficult because I feel like everything at this stage of our lives feels difficult. It feels overwhelming, right? But there are some things that you can do naturally, right, that are going to help you to regulate. One of them is stabilizing your blood sugar. Okay, well, when you hear that, you're like, okay, do I need to take medication? What do I need to do? No, you don't. But you need to eat 3 meals a day, right? So you have to eat breakfast, everybody. Now, I have a shake, but I load it up with other foods inside it. But 30 grams at least of protein in your breakfast, right? Do not go and work out in the morning fasted. That's going to raise your cortisol too high. Do not undereat. That's why I said the 3 meals a day. And then you have taught this over and over and over again about the balance of the plate. You want to just talk about it a little bit?
Absolutely. Yeah. So listen, a few years ago, like I said, I was noticing real shifts in the way I looked. I looked bloated. I looked round. And it was actually a conversation that I had with Tina, years ago about the importance of balancing our meals. And that's when my eyes were kind of open to that side of our nutrition that's just so key, especially when we are getting older. Again, when our estrogen dips, our cortisol is high. And also when we're waking up with high cortisol, we want to make sure that we get things in check first thing in the morning so that you're not like chasing it for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
That's what happens. If you don't eat first thing in the morning, then your blood sugar for the rest of the day is totally off balance. And so you'll find mid-morning, you're just ravenous for, whatever it is that you're craving, whether it's empty carbs or sweet and salty, whatever that is. But if you can get that in check first thing in the morning, and that's why I will have a big breakfast. And it's amazing because then I have energy and I'm full, like all the way through my morning. I'm more productive. I'm not thinking about food. And again, high protein. So minimum 30 grams of protein per day. So much more feasible than you think. That's going to help you feel more full.
Per meal.
Sorry about that. It's going to help you feel more full. It's going to support your body, your muscle, all of the things. Then you want carbs. It doesn't have to be bread. We're talking about carbs from fruits and vegetables. And that's going to give you energy. It's going to help you, gives you more energy. For me, it gives me more energy. It's also just going to support you a little bit better throughout your day.
It satiates you, right? And carbs are like brain food.
Yeah. And it ends up being a lot of the filler, right, in your plate to really fill you up, right? Yeah. And then, of course, your healthy fats. Healthy fats, not a whole avocado, think a thumb size, or, you know, a small handful of nuts, whatever that looks like for you, that is going to help stabilize your blood sugar. And when you have all of those components, and fiber, of course, get your fiber in. When you have all those components, when you balance your meal, it's not that complicated. It's just being more mindful. You are going to notice such a big difference throughout your day, and you'll be able to bring your cortisol back to a rhythm, a, yeah, a rhythm that we like to, you know,
Rhythm restoration.
Rhythm restoration. I was trying to think of the term just before we jumped on here, like rhythm restoration.
Well, I think it's really cool that we're talking about not just high cortisol, but that we're dysregulated, and we don't want to suppress. We want to restore the rhythm.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's really important. So, of course, so balancing your blood sugar sounds technical, but really it's just eating a balanced plate that Vanessa shared with us for sure. And then the other thing is sleep is super important. And so like you need to say to yourself, I'm in bed every night between 10 and 10:30, right? That your room is completely dark. And did you know that the ideal temperature for sleeping, and I'll do it in Fahrenheit, because Canadians understand Fahrenheit, even though they do Celsius, and then Americans will understand, like between 65 and 67 degrees.
Oh, really?
Is ideal. Like you want to sleep in a cold room and have like lots of blankets.
Oh my God.
Night
I'm one of those people, I like things to be like super toasty all the time, like especially in the winter, like keep me cozy. Oh yeah, well, Tina and I have been away before, and she's like turning up the air conditioner.
Turning on
like,
the air conditioner.
I'm like, I didn't bring my sweatpants.
That's so funny. I remember that now. And then you want to kind of like do the same thing every night. Like I talked about in an earlier one, like I mix my collagen and my magnesium powder together, froth it, drink it. That's it. You know, like I have a little
nightly ritual.
Little routine. And then having a consistent wake up time.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Having it. And then the other thing you can do is like some exercise adjustments. If you are an exerciser, right? So you want to reduce the frequency of like HIIT workouts. And by HIIT workouts, I don't necessarily mean like you're doing a set HIIT workout. By that, it's high intensity, right? Interval training. So that's what HIIT means. What you don't want to do is that, because it raises your heart rate up until your max. And you don't want to be working out at a max heart rate in our age. It just really raises the cortisol levels too high. So we just want to stay in that 50 to 70% zone of our max. And in our group, we've got that chart. You just can put heart rate chart in the search bar. If you want to look about the foods that Vanessa talked about of balancing your plate, we have a whole guide on it. It's free inside our Menopause Unlocked group. If you want to come to Menopause Unlocked with all the free resources in there, type group in the comments. We'll make sure you get an invite into the group. It's got everything anybody would ever need to try to get a handle on things, you know, and plus you cover free mentorship. Anyways, you should schedule rest days. Believe it or not.
I had a rest day
yesterday. Pickleball every day, I think. But they're like, oh, pickleball. Oh, well. But anyways,
you know, like at the end of the day, it's like anytime that you don't feel safe in your body, you should like really notice, you know. For example, even with the way we like to eat, I came into the new year like, I'm going to start working on my body. And I could tell when maybe I wasn't eating enough. And so in the last couple of weeks, I've had to like slightly adjust that, because it makes my body feel safer when I feel, you know, that I've eaten enough, when I'm fueling my body well. Same thing with exercise. If your body feels like you're being chased by a bear all the time, more than likely you're raising your cortisol a little bit. So like, you know, just noticing a little bit how you're feeling in your body, what's going on, will help you be a little bit more mindful of like where you need to tweak a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Now, part of like regulating your nervous system will also, we're telling you things that you can do, like you can implement right away, you know, getting a little bit of sunlight exposure in the morning is always good for you. So even if you just like let the sun come on your face when you're driving to work, like whatever it is, do you know what I mean? But getting that exposure. Also like making sure that you have like a little time out every day, even if it's 10 minutes.
Makes a
Right?
huge
Like
difference.
I'm not telling you to do like, doing nasal breathing and all that kind of stuff. It's really great. It'll regulate your nervous system, but and it's not woo woo. It really does. But I'm just saying to you, like, if you sat in quiet for 10 minutes, it's amazing. Like don't or drive in silence for 10 minutes. Like just like shut yourself down and then you say to yourself, that's my like just quiet time. I'm not going to listen to music. I'm not going to listen to a podcast. I'm driving from here to here. This is the time where I sit silently.
And it's such a funny thing for us to think about. It's like, what, 10 minutes of like stopping and silence? Because I think we can all agree, we wake up and we have our routines. We wake up and automatically we're like into autopilot, and that doesn't do anything for anyone, whether it's like getting up at the same time, getting our workout done, making sure we've eaten, getting into, maybe you have kids, getting them off to school, sitting in traffic, blah, 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 notifications on our phone. And, if we can just be a little bit more mindful, it's like, I need 5 minutes. I just need 5 minutes to like lock ourselves in the bathroom. Like, but sometimes we consciously have to stop ourselves just to have that moment, right?
Yeah. 100%. So now I want to talk a little bit about like supplemental support.
Yes.
So there are a lot of adaptogens out there, right? Like a ton of adaptogens, and adaptogens are herbs that help to calm us. The ones I'm going to talk about anyway. So everybody's heard of ashwagandha. Everyone should have heard of Schisandra. Schisandra is the empress of calming adaptogens.
Yeah.
And then of course there's holy basil. So I just remember a time where I was first starting out trying to control my cortisol. I used a holy basil liquid capsule. And I would take that holy basil every day. And then we were lucky enough to have an adaptogen blend that we all utilized that had those 3 things in it. But those things are key. You may be able to find one out there, right? Yeah. That has ashwagandha, Schisandra, and
remember, adaptogen is helping your body adapt to stress, right?
Correct.
So that our daily stressors, we're just able, again, we're just able to adapt. Your body can like flip into it a little bit easier instead of it being like a stressful.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then mineral support, I recommend that every woman utilize magnesium. There are a whole bunch of different types of magnesiums out there. So you should be using magnesium glycinate or magnesium, it'll say bis in front of it, glycinate. And that is the one that helps to, and you should take it before bed, restore and recover. Okay, like that is the one, because you can take magnesium citrate too if you need to poop, because that helps with pooping. But I'm saying, like, as far as cortisol goes, we want to do the magnesium bisglycinate or magnesium glycinate for sure before bed. And then during the day, you should be utilizing some form of electrolyte drink. So because you want to keep your minerals up. And when I say magnesium, guys, do you know that 98% of the North American population is deficient in magnesium? And it is one of the most important minerals. So take your magnesium seriously, folks. Seriously. But a nice electrolyte drink. And what I would say to you is, if you're going to have an electrolyte drink, please check the label. Do not use anything that has artificial sweeteners. So you're going to look for words like sucralose, aspartame. If it has erythritol, that's a sugar alcohol. It's not as bad, but you should really try to find something that is stevia, right? Or sometimes you'll see monk fruit.
And I do love, I'm just going to throw this out there, but I do love making myself an adrenal mocktail. So if you have had a lot of stress, or you're just like, like you just feel like you're in overdrive, you really want to replenish your vitamin C. And like Tina said, electrolytes, because that is going to help support your adrenal glands, just like like keep up because your
Can
body.
you please just talk about your recipe for your adrenal
Yes,
mocktail?
I take an orange, or if you have orange juice, great. But you can like just squeeze an orange if you have one in your fridge. I personally like coconut water, so I'll do orange juice for my vitamin C, coconut water for my electrolytes. You put a little bit of salt, and you also put cream of tartar. Cream of tartar actually is great for replenishing. I can't remember now your sodium. Okay, so the salt is your sodium, and the cream of tartar for
Potassium,
potassium. Yes, yeah,
because that's the sodium and potassium regulate our heart.
yeah. And if you have collagen, you can mix it in there too. And if not, just drink that. It's really going to help support your adrenal glands.
Okay, I love that idea, but this is what I want to tell you. Don't go to the grocery store and buy the great big thing of orange juice, okay?
No.
Because it's just so full of sugar. Like
Yeah.
that way. But what if you bought like the little all natural one?
Yeah, if you
It costs, it's expensive,
but you
but
only
you
need
buy it and then what a treat.
yeah,
'Cause
you
it's
only need a
so
little
good.
bit, like maybe half of a cup, or just like
Yeah.
just some vitamin C to kind of replenish, because your adrenals go to work when you're under stress, right? So
Yeah.
you're using up all of those really vital minerals, right? So yeah.
Little half a cup of orange juice. How much coconut water?
Same. Even like a quarter cup orange juice, or a third,
Then
maybe half a
coconut
cup of
water,
coconut water,
cream
and
of
then
tartar.
sprinkle of salt, and like I think it's a half teaspoon of cream of tartar. And if you want to mix in your collagen as an extra beauty bonus, then
So nice.
fantastic.
Does cream of tartar taste like anything?
No, it's one of those things that we have in our cupboards and we never use. We only use it if we're making like shortbread cookies or something.
Right, right. Okay,
But
I
it's
like that.
beneficial. It actually really does help with the potassium replenishment. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. And then,
Mhm.
okay, last but not least, if you use a sleep aid, and I can't tell you how many women say they take like Benadryl to sleep, like to knock them out, stuff like that. It's mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
You can get an all natural sleep aid, and you want it to be a mix of a few things, because if you take straight up melatonin, it can tend to give you some really like lucid dreams, like you dream too big and then you're like, am I awake? Am I asleep? Am I awake? Right? But 5 milligrams like of melatonin is really nice. But if you get yourself a good sleep blend, it should have, and you can get them, I've seen them like in all the grocery stores, whatever, melatonin, L-theanine, right,
Mm,
which is something that shuts like some of our neurotransmitters down naturally, and GABA, GABA.
yes.
And when you put those three things together, really nice. GABA also helps with night sweats and hot flashes.
Yeah.
As a side note,
Yeah, that's awesome.
so those sorts of things. Now, please consult, if you take medications, consult with your healthcare provider before you jump into using adaptogens or the other sleep aid or anything that I mentioned. But I just want to putting it out there.
Yeah, for sure. For
So
sure.
now I want to talk about, because Vanessa and I are really we believe in the latest in restorative and performance wellness technology, right? Like we're not ever going to share garbage with you, like throwing it out there. We spend these half an hours together so that we can share like the latest with you. So, the peptide conversation is huge. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. The lay person is just starting to learn the value of this wellness technology using therapeutic peptides. And there's so many different ways to get them. You can use them in a tablet form, orally. You can use them. There's nasal sprays. You can also inject them, like a lot of different things. So when I talk about cortisol and the adrenal gland, and I talk about peptides, the one thing that you want to remember is that all the stress and the anxiety and possibly depression, like all the things that you have when it comes to that high cortisol or low cortisol, is also related to our gut health. So that's why we talk about blood sugars and eating balanced plate and all of those things. We have a gut-brain axis, and the vagus nerve is responsible for that. So if we can repair our gut when we are in menopause, then there's a really good possibility we help to alleviate that anxiety. We help to alleviate the mood swings. We help to alleviate some of the depression that comes with it. And that's where peptides stand when it comes to cortisol. So we're not talking about weight loss. We're not talking about like brain function, like, hey, clarity, all of those things. I'm talking about cortisol and what can happen. So the peptides you want to look for are peptides like BPC-157. That is the key peptide in healing our gut and tissue repair. KPV, it's known to signal our inflammation to leave our bodies, right? Those are the types of things that are super duper important, right?
Yeah.
And of course, the copper peptide, right?
Yeah.
The GHKCU. So Vanessa and I use a blend of those three peptides that I mentioned, and it's actually called Beauty because the copper peptide stimulates skin, hair, nails. It actually makes your hair follicles healthier, so you're getting hair regrowth, that sort of thing. But the KPV gets rid of bodily inflammation, and the BPC-157 helps in tissue repair, but the way we take it orally, it heals the gut. So that's where, peptides are. They are not going to override your chronic stress. You need to put the natural things together, right? They're definitely going to help. They're a tool, right? But really, eating properly, getting yourself in a sleep routine, not exercising too hard, but getting some exercise in there, right? Taking the 5 minutes and getting some sun on your face and the 5 minutes a day to regulate your nervous system. Those are the keys. And possibly using the help of some of the adaptogens and that sort of thing we talked about. I mean, I think that's good. Like, do you think there's anything else we should share?
No, I think that's a great conversation, because I think, some of us do have higher, some lower. It's understanding kind of what's going on with your body personally, and then being able to just slow down and notice so that you can tweak along the way. And listen, like Tina said, we're here to help. We have an amazing group. We have so much support for you. And we're excited that you're here on this journey with us. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And the things that Vanessa and I will always talk about are the key pillars in life. So like nutrition, hydration, physical movement and exercise, and then targeted supplementation. That's targeted for the midlife woman. That's targeted for a woman that's over 40 all the way up to 80. And if you think, oh, I'm post-menopause, I'm done with those symptoms. No, we carry about 5 or 6 of them straight to the end of our lives.
Yep.
Out of the 85, you're going to have a lot of them at the beginning. Okay. Well, you will have less. Okay. That's the good thing. But so I think too, all of the things that are happening with our lives in between are what cause this high cortisol as well. So I hope that was informative.
We hope it was. We hope it was. And if you see at the bottom, you can see that all the way until the end of the month, there is a really great promotion for anything that we are using and talk about. So reach out to us, type 20 down the comments, whether it's the peptides, our nitro drink, which is incredible for your performance and mental clarity. Even
I call it my brain fog drink.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's part of my cortisol combo.
Yeah. It's a true story. True story. The body peptide and the nitro, Tina, it is her cortisol combo. So if you have any questions about that, take advantage before the end of the month, including the sampler pack or the Kickstart pack, which is 7 days for you to get to try both of those.
Oh yeah.
For 7 days. So
amazing. And first week in March is our next one. We're doing one right now, but first week in March. And then you have I
think it's
here for you every day.
Our next Kickstart, hold on, before we close out, I'm just going to pull up the calendar just so that we have the exact date. Our next Kickstart starts on Monday, March 2nd.
Yeah.
So to get the $20 off, you get your Kickstart pack or sampler pack in advance. You're ready to go. We get you into the group. We get you this really cool digital guide, everything to get you set up for success. So anyway, my friends, thank you, thank you, thank you. I know we went a little bit longer. Bye, everybody. Are we going to do
Cheers. Yeah. Come on, Vanessa. I love you in sign language. I love you.
I love you. Okay. Bye, guys.